start by talking about what California Arts, Media, and Entertainment is and what the pathways are in public schools. You can see this slide, correct? Okay, excellent. So there's two different kind of tracks for teachers, and one track is the traditional track, and I'll show that to you. To get what's called a single subject teaching credential, it requires you to have a bachelor's degree and then go through a whole credential program at a college, and then do student teaching, like that whole unpaid internship situation that I'm really adamantly trying to create systemic change around, making sure people are paid for their time. Anyway, so being a teacher has been traditionally pretty hard, is the point. Like, you have to go through all these hoops, take a bunch of really expensive tests, and then get into the classroom and then student teach. And so one of the things that emerged a few years ago is this realization that there's that industry experience and a combination of industry and post-secondary should help people find the teaching profession and qualify them for an alternative type of credential. So today what I'm going to talk about are the two types of credentials that you can get and how to go about doing so. One is for California Arts, Media, and Entertainment, which is our career technical education programs. And these are the programs that you have to have industry experience to teach or some kind of professional experience, and really prep kids for careers in the arts, media, and entertainment industries. So in California, we have over 231,000 students enrolled in these programs in high schools. And it's the largest sector in the state, which makes sense, right? This is like a very entertainment industry driven economy here in California. But it's really cool because you can basically get a job and then customize your program to your areas of specialty. So I love the transportation design. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So we're actually in the process of revamping what's called the state standards for these programs. And one of the recommendations of AIGA, which is one of my close advisors, is that we need to make a design pathway that covers all of the types of design, not just graphic design explicit, right? So we really work with creative industry to shape these programs so that kids can have a high quality industry connected education during their free and public education. And that's the goal of CTE, Arts, Media, and Entertainment. It's like school should be relevant. Arts for art's sake and arts for academic sake is very important. It shouldn't be discredited, but it's not the same thing as arts for creative career's sake. And kids should have both options. Kids that are college bound should be able to go through high school programs that are like academic arts, which should actually, in theory, be a foundation to all career focused arts classes, right? So, really thinking about a system that is yes and. Yes, there's a 4-year college path for arts professionals, but yes, there is also a direct way that you can get work in industry if you have a high quality skills training. So the teacher pathway is really about deciding which is a best fit. Are you looking to teach in an academic pathway that is prepping kids for a 4-year college or post-secondary? Are you looking for a type of program that can be customized specifically around jobs and careers? So currently our existing pathway programs are media arts and graphic design, visual and commercial art, professional dance, theater, and music, which is the performing arts, but this is going to be shifting and I'll show you in a second. Film and TV production, multimedia broadcast and audio, stage technology, and animation and game design. So right now is a really pivotal time because we're revamping all of this with like an army of industry advisors. So what's going to be happening is that the pathways are designed by industry and need to be connected directly to occupations to be viable for students to be able to be employed in those spaces. Like, I wish that if I would have known that the Imagineers were a thing in high school, like, I would have had a whole different career trajectory. So there's like a very big need to start prepping kids for jobs, not just college, in high school. And I think some of you are probably closer to that space than I am, right? But that's what the state's priorities are. It's careers and college now. It's not just one. And so many high schools have really shifted. So our new pathways for 2022 and beyond will look like this: animation, VFX, games, film and television production, communications and content creation, professional dance and theater, professional and commercial music, which we still don't have a name for that because that's not the good name, and it's like music industry. Okay, my dog's clearly in need of something. Excuse the noise. Graphic design, this one might just end up being design, and then live events and stage tech, and that one's just shifted to live events. And these again are so there will be 7 types of programs that you can teach in beginning next year if you go AME. Now the arts are the 5 arts disciplines. Media arts, which isn't a separate credential, you actually need a visual arts credential to teach that. Dance and theater just came out with their own credential programs, and for single subject, and then music. So those are the arts disciplines separate from the CTE pathways. So I'm going to pause right there and see if there are any questions in the chat before I go in. Just want to make sure that I tend to be a fire hose and that I'm pausing enough if people have questions about the difference in the state between arts for academics and arts, media, and entertainment for career tech ed. Cool. I don't really see anything, so I will move on and then we can do questions later. All right, so credentialing. So the basic requirements for obtaining what's called a designated subject credential to teach CTE AME is like the basic requirement is industry experience, but you can get this credential very easily with a combination of things. So, and when we say industry experience, gig economy, contract work, W-9 work, gigs, like all that works, it all fits. So essentially what you need, and actually even just like self-employed, like if you're an individual, like say you're a painter or whatever, and you have exhibitions and gallery shows and you paint, all of those hours count towards industry experience. So anything you've done in the professional art space, and my guess is most of you have done stuff if you're pursuing this level of education that you're getting at Art Center, most of you are artists, or if not all of you, probably all of you, clearly. So you can use your independent arts experience that have, whether it's volunteer or paid, to count for what's called industry experience in this credential. This is a very easy credential to obtain. And when I was looking at Amanda's questions, I'm like, she's gonna be like, wait, what? Is that easy? So essentially you need a degree, you can just get it from 3 years of industry experience. Like if you have W-2s and evidence that you worked in industry for 3 years, and that's like they do it by hours, so like 1,000 hours equals 1 year full-time work, then done. You got your preliminary, then you just have to do some online classes while you're teaching to finish that up. If you do not have 3 years of industry experience, you can get this credential putting together a combination of a degree in your content area and teaching experience. So say you're a teaching artist in a community arts program, that counts as teaching experience. Or if you've taught, anything really, maybe you have a different credential and you've taught something, you can use that as 1 year. But essentially you need 3 years of industry experience or a minimum of 1 year industry experience combined with a degree and or teaching experience. So there's the way that these credentials are obtained is that you go through county offices, and the county offices are, hang on one second, I'm so sorry. The county offices are, like I just mentioned, I just had some pretty bad news, so I'm not going to look at my phone right now until we're done. The county offices, there's, I think about like 10 of them across the state. The one we always work with is Orange County because it is so easy to work with and everything is online. So essentially this link here, and I'll share this slide deck with you guys, or you all, is the Orange County Career, can you see this? Okay, I didn't know if I was just sharing like one tab. This is how you navigate the program, and you click on what type of candidate are you? And so the first thing you look at applications, And the application procedures are different for first-time credential applicants than they are for existing credential holders. So say I have a single subject credential, I want to add on a CTE, I would click right here because I'm an existing credential holder and I'm just adding. If I'm a first-time applicant, I click right here. It brings me to the application process and all of the things you need to know, the costs associated. So there are fees, but like anything, there's fees. The cool thing with this county office is that they have a whole relationship with a credit union, so you can get full on financial aid. I think the two, I think the like the whole program over 3 years costs 3 grand. That's like a good average amount to estimate. But what I'm going to tell you right now is districts are so hard up for teachers. Like Inglewood's paying for this for a bunch of people. So like I think Culver City might be too. So like these fees can get covered by your potential employer. Compton is too, because we're looking for audio production teachers right now. So like don't let the fees discourage you, because in most cases districts will cover the costs to get you. There's like a heavy recruiting incentive there. But it just basically breaks it down. Like you need an employer letter to verify your work experience. If you don't have one, you can self-verify. Right? So it makes it really, really simple and really easy to follow. So I wanted you to see this because this is the like kind of streamlined process to getting into a classroom. Once you have this credential, you are able to teach high school CTE programs, arts, media, and entertainment specific. Those of you that have like more industrial arts kind of focuses, there's also transportation sectors you could teach in. There's 15 sectors in the state. So arts, media, and entertainment is only one. It's our largest, and there is a lot of work in this space. So that's my sector. So then the other type of credential is what we talked about. This is the more traditional credential. This is called a single subject credential. And there's 4 credentials for arts. I think there still might be an old industrial arts credential offered some schools, like maybe Davis, but it's not easy to find. It was an old type of credential. So for this, you need a lot of college. You need your degree. You need another year plus of a credential program. You need to pass a test called a CSET, although they just waived this if your degree is in the subject matter. So like say I have a bachelor's in English and I want to get an English credential, I got that test waived now. Before I couldn't have. And then you have to student teach in a classroom for like one whole semester for no pay. So this is, and then one of the things you'll see on both of these slides is for preliminary and for clear. So a preliminary credential means that you're authorized to get a job. And then you have 3 years to what we call clear that credential. And that just means that your credential is going from temporary to permanent. If you want to clear a credential for a CTE program, you take those online courses. You have 3 years to do it. And it's like, they're easy. They're just like kind of helping you through, like what is CTE and what is classroom management and what is culturally responsive pedagogy and things like that you need to know in order to kind of get your bearings in a high school classroom. Single subject is different. Once you have your preliminary, you have to go through a program that's called induction. It used to be called BITSA. And basically what happens is you get a job at a school after you're done with your student teaching. And then you have to go through 2 years of like seminars essentially and monthly meetings and working with a mentor and doing a lot of things you already did in your credential program. I'm just going to be honest about. There's been a lot of complaints around induction just being redundant. So it's a lot harder to get a single subject than it is a CTE. And for job security, honestly, the more credentials, the better. But I feel like there's more work in CTE right now than there is in single subject arts. So it's good to kind of know what your choices are. So anyways, how to find a job. So education's like old school. You always will need these things. You always need 3 letters of rec, resume, cover letter, and then I'm just going to tell you, someone who paper screen teacher applicants, professional social media. Like we cyber stalked all these people. There was like cat ladies, there was like drunk ladies, and guys with like Okay Cupid accounts. Like, just keep your social media on point. Because if you ever want to work in a classroom, that will come and bite you. I'm just gonna say I was the one who had to see all that. So EdJoin is how you find a job. It's this weird platform for all California school. Actually, it might be national. Not sure. You can see every job in education, from principals to instructional aides to whatever. You search for, it's hard to search. Their search engine is not great, but I'm just going to type in arts media. Let's just type in arts and see what pops up. So when you type in arts, you can see every arts job in the state, and you can actually see salary scales. Um, wow, this school's hard up for ag because it's really rare that you'll see we will give up to 20 years of teaching experience. What that means is when you transfer districts, so like I am looking to go from one school to another, I can carry with me my years, and then I'm higher up on the salary scale because it's all about this system where you're entry level and then you go up step and column every year. Union work is great work. I mean, it's consistent. You have a contract, you get a steady raise, you have full benefits. There's a lot of perks to being a teacher. So you can see founding CTE teacher, and this is a perfect example of the kind of thing that you'll see right now. That means you get to create a program from scratch. They'll buy you whatever you need. You get to run it. This one is in Oakland. So visual, you can just kind of start looking. And the good news with this is you can see the salaries. Like, this isn't a teacher job. This is classified staff. Classified staff means like instructional assistants or secretaries or whatever. Certificated staff means you need a credential. This starting at $67,000 is kind of unheard of. It usually, I would say, on average, teachers start at around 48,000 a year, which sucks, but you have to think about these things. You're only working 9 months out of the year, and you get 28 paid holidays. And your hours, I mean, in an arts and CTE program, you're not teaching English. You're not going to be grading like horrid papers like me for 15 years of my life. Like, no, you are done at the end of your day generally, and that's at 3:30. So when you look at it and put it all in perspective, 67,000, even 48 for a 9-month gig with an additional 28 paid holidays plus full benefits plus shorter days than, like, I work till 7 sometimes now, so I'm just gonna say that this is a sweet gig for people who want that type of lifestyle and you want 2 months off every year. So anyways, language arts, I pulled up arts, so you're seeing language arts. Like, there's a 60% performing arts program. They will tell you if you need a master's or not. You get paid generally more for master's degrees, so this one pays you $3,000 more a year if you have a master's. Anyways, you can see kind of the I typed in art, so it's pulling up Spanish and language. Let me just type in arts, media, and entertainment and see what happens in the CTE space. Sometimes it's, like I said, really hard to search, but I want you to just be able to navigate this. So yeah, it's not, unless they typed that whole thing, it's not gonna pull up that way. So let's see if we can do CTE. Anyways, just playing around in here is the best bet. All these are career tech ed programs. Many of them are probably AME. There's business. Many of you would qualify for business. Yeah. So that gives you, and then there's 20 pages. So that gives you a sense of the jobs that are out there right now. It's not a super, it's would be fairly simple probably to secure something at this time in history. All right, so now I'm going to stop again. I'm going to stop share before I go into the resources available for new teachers in the state. I want to see if anyone has questions or thoughts. Okay, I don't know if they can talk, Amanda, but
I'm not sure if they can talk, but they can certainly put a question in the chat box, or even the Q&A is enabled. I have a quick question. Are both pathways, whatever someone decides to choose, are they going on to EdJoin to find all of those opportunities, whether it's single subject or the CTE?
Yeah, all posted teaching positions in California go through EdJoin. A lot of districts are now also recruiting in like LinkedIn and stuff, but it's not as common. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, the Orange County website. Let me drop that in the chat. The way these credential offices work is that they're basically, hang on, I gotta go back to it. I'm like the worst multitasker now. They're basically service centers for the whole state. So you can go anywhere. I could be in like San Francisco and go in Orange County. And I intentionally share Orange County because there's very few of them that are fully online. And that one is. And so it's like you can do it from anywhere, which makes it much it makes it a fair that I have I'm like preferential, and b yeah, it doesn't matter where you're living, and I can connect you directly to the credential specialist there, who's actually a specialist in arts, media, and entertainment. So she knows how to like put together. Oh, I think I just yeah, I sent that to everyone. She knows how to put together all the packages for this. So that's their website. And then let me drop EdJoin in just so you can start playing with it if you're interested.
Do you have any tips, things, areas that they should have on their resume? You know, I imagine that you're going through some sort of applicant tracking system and searching for specific key skills. Do you have any recommendations as far as that?
Yeah, I would say it's just such a weird time. Honestly, people are so hard up for teachers that, like, if you are professional and you demonstrate professionalism in your resume, most likely you're gonna get an interview. The one thing that you want to emphasize is all of those transferable skills. So thinking about how, creative problem solving and project management, all the things we do as artists that like you can kind of like say this is how I can also transfer to education. So in a resume, thinking through like I have project management skills, that one always looks really good. Being able to just manage in general and lead groups, that's what you're doing with high school kids. And so any kind of teaching experience is great, like if you taught in an after school program or anything that shows that you've had experiences working with youth. Definitely include that. And yeah, just focusing about around those transferable skills. And if you've worked in creative industry, definitely emphasize that. Okay, I have a couple questions in the chat. Is it best to start the credential process to teach as soon as you start working to make the credential process faster? It depends on which credential you're going for. If you're going for the CTE credential, you won't be able to start that credential unless you can demonstrate a minimum of 1,000 hours or 1 year working in industry. But again, many of you probably I mean, could pull that together from just the stuff I did in high school myself, right? Like I was selling my art. I was like working and helping set up exhibitions, any public arts projects. So if you have, when you think about industry experience, it doesn't always have to be work. It can be about art making, and that's professional in this type of environment. It could be volunteer work. But yeah, you won't even be able to start the process until you can demonstrate at least 1,000 hours of professional experience. What would you say is the biggest obstacle to getting to a teaching job one should expect to deal with? Or is it mainly the general bureaucratic navigation? Yes, great question. Everything in public spaces is horrid bureaucracy. I think your biggest obstacle will be to get the things submitted right on EdJoin and all. Getting those 3 letters, like it's still such an archaic process compared to a lot. I'm going to tell you right now that your interview process is also challenging. So most schools do a panel-based interview that you have to demonstrate, you have to teach a lesson to them. That can be super intimidating. I've sat on many interview panels with new teachers, and so first of all, it's all about confidence. If you can show up in a room like you own that room, you will get that job. Like that is I mean, without being cocky, right? Like it's a fine balance, but um like I'm going to just say this out loud on the record. 95% about being a good teacher is confidence, is walking into a classroom, being able to look at a kid if they're saying something or acting a certain way and just give them a look and then they stop. Like, you need to own your classroom because they can read that, right? Like, you're so I the other 5% is the rest of it. But if you have the confidence to walk into a room like you own that room, no one is going to challenge you. No kid is going to push up against that. And so don't I would almost worry more about that piece than I would worry about like the because you can learn how to teach. You learn about how to create lesson plans, but so much of about it is the relationships and that confidence. So yeah, those interviews are like pretty intimidating. So if you can walk in there with confidence, with a really solid lesson that's like, this is super engaging and fun for kids. No one wants to, how do I put it? I guess maybe I'm the one. I don't care about your degrees. I don't care about how much you academia you know or like can show. I just want to see that you can like bring something down to like a down to earth level and execute it, right? So somebody who interviews teachers, like the teachers that came in with super heady academic lesson plans never got a second interview because it was about the project. It was about the teacher that came in with like, hey kids, we're going to study Hamilton. Your lesson is to like come up with 7 tweets around how Hamilton and hip hop connect, right? Like that's a cool. So thinking really creatively about what you do and not trying to prove that like I've got a PhD and I can teach very high level academia. That is not what teaching high school is about. It's about relationships, it's about being down to earth, it's about engagement, and honestly being super culturally responsive and understanding the communities that you're working with and then customizing things to that instead of just being like, I know all these things, let me deliver them to you. That's not it. That's a very different mentality. And that's what we experience a lot in post secondary, right? Like very smart people wanting to deliver all of their knowledge. That's great. And there's a place for that, but it's not generally a high school classroom. So just to be explicit from a veteran teacher over here, those are not the most successful humans in the classroom in high school in public schools. Um is teaching at college level different? Oh yeah. Teaching at a college level is a way different process. If you're going to go into a college level position, first of all, it's super competitive. Second of all, you need a master's in a special thing, and most colleges are opposite of everything I just said, like literal opposite. You need to be able to like tell them about all your fancy degrees and demonstrate that you know all of these things, and then you're competing with veteran professors. So getting full-time work at a college level is very challenging. Most college professors come on as adjunct, and they stay that a lot of them stay adjunct their whole career, and and that's a good thing. I think Amanda and I were even talking about this a little bit, like people get stagnant. Same in high school. Like you don't want to do this. Like when you're doing something for 20 years, you don't stay current because you're comfortable. So we really, the adjunct structure is it's good for students. I think sometimes it's a little challenging for the professors who have to teach at like 7 colleges to make a living, right? So and you might be paid hourly, but you're hustling. Like I just said, you could be at Riverside and you could be at OCC and you could be at Long Beach State and you could be taking a class here and there, never having a consistent set schedule. So yeah, teaching college is different. You need fancy degrees. You need to like know a whole lot of things, and then you need to compete. Um, is there a server, any sort of space where art teachers yes, great question. And that's actually kind of a killer transition into my next, like, where are those spaces and support for teachers? So I am going to, how much time do we have, Amanda?
We have until about 20 more minutes until
Oh,
1
sweet.
p.m.
I can
Yeah.
just show all the things then. Okay.
Show all the things. And we have one Q&A in the Q&A feature at the bottom. I can
Oh,
also
let me
read
see that
it.
one first.
We have another question in there.
Yes. Okay. Can you talk a little bit about why you would choose one certification over the other? It sounds like one is more challenging. Is there a benefit for one over the other? This is super controversial. Okay. So I'm going to say this on the record because I say it to everybody and I know we're being recorded. Career technical education in California has been extremely well funded. Extremely well funded. Like we have $300 million that are exclusively for CTE. The arts are not. And so what has happened over the last, since 2013, is many districts across the state have told arts teachers, if you don't get your CTE credential, we can't fund your program. And this is not a good thing, I'm just telling you the truth. And if you don't get your CTE credential, we'll replace you with somebody who has it, because then we can fund that program. It has caused a huge divide and weird thing between arts and CTE in California, especially in very large districts where CTE teachers get all the things and the arts teachers can't even get their supplies. Okay. And this is a systemic issue. And the arts teachers have been very vocal about the fact that they're not happy about this setup, and that they feel that they went to college for, in some cases, way more years than these other teachers, and that should be worth something. Okay. So that's there's a big divide that's created an equity gap, and the CTE credential is 10 times easier to get and 10 times more cost effective. So, there is some things happening right now to explore an alternative that brings those two credentials to more equal ground. There is also a very exciting ballot measure that's trying to get signatures. So if you can advocate for anything, go stand in front of Target and get signatures or something. Essentially, $800 million is being proposed to fund arts education in California. Not taxpayer dollars. Carving out existing funds that just go to general funds exclusive for arts education. If that happens, and if the voters vote for it, and if we can get enough signatures, game over. Arts is going to be more funded than CTE in the state. There won't be this weird divide. It's always about money, right? But right now, arts teachers have had some challenges with job security. And they went through all this college to get these fancy credentials, and they went full on in debt. I mean, my college debt for my credential and bachelor's program, like total was like $60K. And then you start at $40K. So like, why is that worth it, right? So we have to reimagine all of this right now. And we're looking at alternatives, and there's multiple agencies working on it. And that was a lot of information in that answer, but that's really the thing. That's the difference. So hopefully I answered it. So I always say, if you're an arts teacher or a CTE, the more credentials, the better. Make yourself as marketable as possible. I have my single subject English. I have my multiple subject, which means I can teach elementary school. I have my single subject dance supplemental authorization, and I have my CTE AME credential. So I can basically teach anything in those things, like, right? So the more the better. Makes you very marketable as a teacher in a school district, and that's the message I send out when I get a lot of sad arts teachers going, we need money, and I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. Okay, let me share my screen again. I'm going to show you all these cool spots and resources. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Google Slides. All right, so we have created an ecosystem of professional learning opportunities in California. And I'm sharing this slide with you first because you can plug into this right now. If you're interested in learning more and you want to see what these teachers are doing and what we do at the state level to support teachers, we are coming up on our conference. So we have something called the Arts, Media, and Entertainment Institute. And this is a big conference. We're calling it the Unconference because it's kind of not a conference. That is open to new teachers, up and coming teachers, old teachers, whatever. And we do this every year. This year the theme is called Shock of the Now, and it is based on that like 1980s modern art documentary. I don't know if you ever saw that, but really looking at emerging technologies in arts, media, and entertainment industries. We have a virtual sessions that are in the afternoons, 3 afternoons in April. And then we're going to be live in Burbank at Warner. So that's going to be super fun. It'll be in June. With that, we'll have one big kickoff day at Warner Brothers with some keynotes and some exciting stuff. And then the rest of the conference is what we call an externship. So teachers will be working, like I think we're going to try and get into the Spotify new podcasting studio, fingers crossed, because Spotify Soundtrap is one of the sponsors. So that's like a very closed off studio space, but we would be able to bring in a group of teachers and do a full on podcasting externship, professional learning, 2 days, deep dive. We're also doing something with Unreal Engine and Epic Games. So there'll be like an accelerator training that's happening. Also probably with ZBrush. We have a lot of things going on in animation and visual effects and games right now. So it's custom learning for teachers to help them stay current with trends and technologies in industry. So I'll share the link to that. We also have a really great community of practice, professional learning community called Cameo. And so Cameo is the California Arts, Media, and Entertainment Educator Organization. The arts teachers have they're called the 4 arts organizations, and AME teachers didn't have one. So we built one, but we're like, it's not just for you, it's for anyone. And so we have teachers from all over the country coming to be part of Cameo. The 4 arts orgs are like California Educational Theater Association, California Dance Educator Association, California Visual. I'm thinking of the acronyms. Anyways, there's 4 arts organizations, and the 5th is for arts, media, and entertainment, and anybody who wants to join. So what we do is every month there's a session, and you can join these totally as part of the being a member of Cameo. Membership's $50 a year. You get monthly sessions with industry, and you get into breakout rooms with people who are your job alikes. So you get to interact with other teachers who are teaching the same stuff. You're able to share best practices, resources, all the things. So I'll show you where to find that and how to sign up if you're interested. I think that's actually my next thing to show you, because I don't think there's another slide. All right, so here's our website. And this is the website that is full of opportunities. And if you want to learn about California Arts, Media, and Entertainment, there's an overview here on the About page. What the pathways are. Again, remember these are shifting a little bit, so this will be updated in the next year or so. Our programs these are some of our grant programs. So I have 3 programs one of these programs is a demonstration program, which means there's schools all over the state that are set up just to help new teachers and new programs. We have a hip hop education and equity initiative. And then I have a workforce training grant programs, and these programs are set up for students who are entering apprenticeships after high school, or teachers that are teaching in a pre-apprenticeship capacity. Here's where you're going to find everything professional learning. So the AME Institute's here. It talks about how to register. We're working with the future of storytelling this year. I'm so excited about that. It's major. So this kind of gives you an overview of what's happening, and you register here, and it shows you the price points. So you can see all of that. Then right here is where you'll find Cameo information. Cameo is our organization, and here are what's happening. So this is an example of the monthly stuff that helps teachers kind of connect and supports new teachers. And it's every month there's a different session. And it's the first 45 is like a guest speaker or someone who's, a panel or something. And then it's breakout rooms with other teachers. So that's that. And you can come to this now, as students, is still open to college students as well. And then anything this is actually kind of cool. So you all might be you might benefit from some of this stuff more than my high school programs because a lot of this is for 18 and over students. Not all of it, and I kind of filter that out sometimes. So this is where we just post like cool stuff happening for teachers that you can do and take right into your classroom. So I highly encourage you all to attend the 2022 Brick Summit free. This is like there's a free education day. This is my team. Amanda, I think this is how we met. So register, it's fully free. It is an incredible day for like they're doing a whole early careers thing with like portfolio reviews from ArtStation, and I don't know if you've promoted this at all, Amanda, but I want to share that.
Yeah, all of you should have a copy of the Brick invitation to attend this Friday.
Awesome. And Saturday is the education day. So
Oh,
that's
I
the
mean
day they're
Saturday.
doing the portfolio reviews and stuff. And the last thing I want to show you is called California. And I actually started, you might have seen it, like early career opportunities. Have not built that out yet. So that's why I didn't show it to you. So, California Educators Together, to answer the question that we had, is our statewide brand new repository for all things teaching resources. This repository came out of COVID. A partner and I wrote a $20 million grant that we did not get, and then he found the money to build this. So, essentially, what this is you go to curriculum and look at this 337 lesson plans in the arts. When you go to CTE, which we just merged two platforms, we've got 4,928 lessons for Career Tech Ed. And when you sort by arts, media, and entertainment, you can sort by filter. So I'll just type in AME and see what pops up. That's not how many there are. Hey, look, it's my lessons that I built in here when I was a teacher. So yes, this is, I'll just show you one of these because this is kind of cool. So basically what this is it's plug and play for teachers. Like, you are a new teacher, you need to come up with a lesson plan. Boom, here you go. Here's how to teach a video pitch with Adobe Spark, which is called something else now. I don't know what they changed the free access one. And it gives you the lessons. So it's like, here are the objectives. Here are the activities. Here are the handouts. Like, it's literally, here's how you teach kids to, like, 2 students read this blog. Like, it's very much plug and play for new teachers. So yes, we have a repository for sharing resources now. And it's not just lessons. It's like all the Kennedy Center stuff's pulled in here. All the video assets that you would ever need to build your own lesson in your own lesson tool is right here. So I can create curriculum. And I can create a lesson or an outline or a project or any of these things. I can plug in, I can be like, oh, I need a video about a penguin. And then I'm going to type in penguin. And sure enough, let's see if something actually comes up. Lots of things come up about penguins. So I'm like, see, is there a video? Oh, nope, there's an image. Cool, I'm gonna have it, like, so you can add these resources right out of the thing. Amazing, amazing new full-on state repository for all things education. So I wanted to share that. All right, and I'll drop all these links in the chat for you. And there are more questions, so let me drop links in because I cannot multitask, and then I'll get to the questions in the last 4 minutes here. First one was California AME and the Institute link. Remember, the Institute is under professional learning. Here is that site. Here is the link to the... Oh, can I only send to hosts and panelists? Can you forward those on, Amanda, or am I not sending it? Oh, I can do everyone. That's my bad. Here you go, people. That was totally my bad. And then here's a link to the California Educators Together. You do need to create a free login. It's all free. So as long as you set up a login, you can kind of start to explore what a lesson plan looks like. Here's that. All right. Cool. So let's check these questions. Okay, there's none there. All right, we got them. Cool.
Awesome.
Any final questions in the last 3 minutes? I'll
Thanks
drop
for
my
going
hand.
through those resources. That's incredible to have just a drag and drop. It's beautiful for new teachers getting started.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna go ahead and write in my email. So if anyone wants to follow up with me, there's my contact information. Happy to support or help. Awesome.
Thanks so much, Allison, for going through everything. We really appreciate learning about the various pathways and how to apply and tips to go to OC or how to do it online. So thank you for taking your time today and going through all of that. Again, and all of those links, if you missed a link or anything, you can always reach out to careers or connect with Allison. And we wish you all the best as you start to explore this pathway. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm gonna drop EdJoin in. I think that's the one I forgot.